to get the local information you need to know.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio this morning is Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister. Morning, Chief. How are you?
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming over and talking with us. And I know you and I, Chief, talked a while back about data reporting and just, what some of the trends were in Lincoln in terms of crime and things of that nature, particularly once the Safety Act came into place. And you come not only prepared this morning, but these are some pretty neat printouts and data that you publish on a monthly basis. What'd you hand me here?
So that's our monthly report. Every month we issue the report for the previous month, and that includes all kinds of information, traffic stop data, crime data, records stuff. So like even how many FOIAs we processed that month, the previous month, NIBRS entries, basically everything that we do. So that'll show our investigative statistics, how many cases we opened, how many cases we closed, that type of thing.
You ever seen Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when he hands them that scouting report for the team, the math teacher did, and he's like, this is great stuff. This is great stuff. This is cool. Yeah. And one thing I'm noticing, and I'll let you kind of, if there's anything in this is from July for folks that can't see, anything in this that stands out about whether it's a recurring theme month to month or anything that happened over the summer?
Yeah. So what that report will show you is the month that the report is for, and then the 2 months prior to it, and it will compare what subject you're looking at. So you'll see maybe burglary, right, and it'll show what occurred in May and June, and then in July, and you can see then if it increased or decreased or stayed the same.
What's NIBRS?
The National Incident Based Reporting System.
Got it.
It's what took over for the old UCR, the Uniform Crime Reporting. It's how municipalities or counties report what's going on to the FBI, who compiles all those statistics,
right,
and creates their own reports with those. June
was busy for y'all.
Yeah. You never know what's going to happen from month to month. You'd think, typically your colder months are a little less busy, but that doesn't always happen that way. So, maybe I think in July we had a sharp increase in assaults and batteries, and you can see that in those tables.
Like this one. Yeah. Crime against property went up in May, dropped a little bit in, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, May it was pretty high. Narcotics investigations have been pretty active. That's one of the spikes in that one too. And by the way, this isn't privilege to me. You didn't just hand this to me and be like, you're the only one that's seen this. You put this out on a monthly basis, right?
Correct. So it's on our city website. If a person visits lincolnil.gov, you can navigate through each of the departments and see what reports have been issued by the department heads.
Do you mind talking about the canine? Because not that it's said often, but I think people they see the canine and it's oftentimes it's more of an ambassador thing. Like you take it in the schools, it's a cool show for the kids. You take it when you're out in the community at different things, and it's nice to connect with people because of the dog, but also has some uses. And do you mind speaking to that a little bit?
Sure. The canine program is an extremely important program. It gives us a tool to combat drugs on the street level without the development of informants or the use of undercover officers, things like that. So it's a very specialized tool. It also assists us in tracking suspects who've fled, or we've used it on missing person cases. Sometimes an elderly person will elope from home and they're confused or lost, and we've used the canine in those situations as well. We take a lot of drugs off the street with that dog.
Really? Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And I actually, one of my goals for this year was to increase, and we budgeted for it, increase our canine presence by appointing another officer to that position and purchasing and training.
Oh, really?
Dog. Yeah.
Is that officer in there the dog on staff yet, or
Yeah. Obviously, it would,
or the canine on staff?
The canine is not. We haven't made that purchase yet.
Okay.
And it's kind of a scheduling thing. There's only so many opportunities to get to training. We have to schedule that all out ahead of time. But that is a goal that I have.
Yeah. With like purchasing a canine, do you mind like laying out what that kind of looks like? I mean, because the dog has to train and all of those things. Like what does that process look like from deciding, like, do you get to decide on the breed of the dog? Do you get to, like what is in your control in terms of decisions about the dog, and then the training and all of that? Like,
Pretty
walk us
much
through
everything. There's a pretty complicated process. So you select a handler first, and you appoint the handler. And we use Von Lick Kennels out of Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
They're a phenomenal company and have great facilities and training. In the case of Sergeant Phillips, we appointed him to the canine position,
Mm-hmm.
and then he visited the kennel, and they have hundreds and hundreds of dogs over there. Those dogs are already trained.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
So you get to go see the dog perform,
Mm-hmm.
Meet the dogs, and select the dog that fits the handler the best.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the training program is training the guy to read the dog. The dog
Mm-hmm.
knows what to do already.
Mm-hmm.
But the human part is the part that we got to get people trained up on.
Yeah. So it's more you training your officer than the dog getting trained
Yep.
at that point. Interesting. Do they still do German when they train the dog?
It depends.
Oh, okay.
There's a few different languages.
Oh.
Obviously
What do your dogs use?
obviously that's something that we like to keep under
Oh,
our hat.
Fair
so
enough.
that,
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. I didn't even think about that. Sorry for
yeah,
that
no,
question.
it's all right.
School resource officer data as well. How about this one? Highlighting them.
Yeah, so we describe what kind of incidents that they deal with in the monthly report.
Mhm.
Just for transparency purposes, we want people to know what we're out there doing, no matter what position that we're in.
Mhm.
And I think it's a beneficial program. to
That's
do
cool.
those reports.
This is cool, Chief. I joked with you off the air. You got too much time on your hands here. But no, I know you get a little assistance with this. It's not just you putting it all together. Anything about crime this summer, whether it was, data that was reported or, anything from the summer that stood out to you in Lincoln that's maybe in this that we've overshadowed a little bit?
Oh, not off the top of my head. I would have to prepare a little bit to speak about that
That's all right.
intelligently. Obviously, we have a lot of property crime. We've talked about that on the show quite a few times, and I think that without looking at those reports, I would say that property crime is staggering.
Yeah, for sure,
We have some data here that we can go over during the show.
Yeah, well, what do you got?
So in 2024. Or after 2024, I compiled a lot of data about what's going on out there. I saw that our drug seizures from 2023 increased by 62.4%. Our firearm seizures increased from 2023 by 38.4%. Burglary cases, I compared this to 2022 instead of 2023 because the Safety Act went in effect halfway through the year.
Mhm.
So I wanted a full year of previous data.
Mhm.
Burglaries increased by 24.7% and theft by 24.3%. So a 50% increase in what you would call a property crime since the passage of the Safety Act.
Do you track repeat offenders, repeat victims?
Not necessarily. I would say the investigations division does that more than the administration, my division would, because they're the ones out there actually conducting boots on the ground investigations.
Yeah.
So they keep an eye on those who are known.
Well, and I know that's a big thing with the Safety Act is the repeat violators, and because there is no, there's no cash bail anymore. They're quickly back out, and if there's no teeth behind the enforcement, they're just committing crimes again. It may not be the same crime, or it might be the same crime. It might be a different victim, or it could be same crime, same victim. But I know that's been a big thing with the Safety Act, is just those repeat offenders and all that stuff. So yeah, it's been a big deal. Again, Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister in studio with us for this morning. In terms of the the narcotics and the drug enforcement side of things, has the Safety Act impacted that at all?
Yes.
How so?
Same deal. You get arrested for a drug crime, and almost all of them are non-detainable offenses now, except for in cases where someone was harmed, like a drug-induced aggravated battery or a drug-induced homicide. So we'll conduct investigations, get probable cause to arrest an offender for selling drugs. They're booked, they're released, and they go back to selling drugs. That's what they know how to do.
That makes sense.
In contrast to how it was before, like when I was in the narcotics investigations job, you would arrest these people. They were held on bond. If they couldn't come up with bond, at least during that period of time that they were incarcerated, we don't have that problem on our hands. So it's had a major effect on how we do business.
So it has to be discouraging. I know we kind of had this conversation a while back, but it has to be discouraging, and particularly from you in a leadership standpoint, to continue to ask your guys to go out and do the things they've got to do when there's no teeth behind some of the things they're asked to do. You turn things over to the state's attorney's office, and there's very little they can do in some circumstances. That's got to be frustrating from your perspective, to continue to send your guys out into your community to ask them to keep it safe, and there's just not the teeth in the game for them to do that in some places.
Yeah, I see a lot of frustration. I see frustration among the men and women who are doing the job. I see it from the community, and it has a negative effect on the morale of police officers all across the state. You go out and work hard, do your job, put a bad guy in jail, and I would compare it to if you work construction and you build a house, and just as soon as you put the last nail in, it all just falls down every time, and that can really, really get to people. Yeah.
Is Lincoln a pretty pro-police community?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, the element that we deal with the 10% of folks 90% of the time. Right? There's people that don't like the police out there, but I think the vast majority of our non-criminal element, our citizens, are pro Lincoln PD.
Very good. Well, Chief, on that note, all this data, where do folks find it? How do they get it?
LincolnIL.gov. That's our city website. And again, there's a tab in there for departments, and each department is listed individually. And we also have a transparency tab that you can go to and find these reports through there.
Is this something you've done since you've been chief, or is this?
Yeah, it was already being done before I got into administration and carried on. My new assistant actually develops those reports for us, and she kind of revamped them a little bit, and I think they look real good.
They do. A lot of good information there as well. Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister in studio with us. More to come with the Chief on the morning show.
WHOW.
weeknow.com.
Let's check the markets on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLoss Yonke. Well, we started a little bit lower, wondering about a turnaround Tuesday, but we're steady to mostly higher. December corn actually went back to unchanged now, 421 3/4. March up a quarter, 439 3/4. July up a quarter, 456 1/4. November soybeans up 1.5, 1035 1/4. January up 1, 1053 3/4. March up 1, 1069. And for wheat, we have December up a quarter, 524. Kansas City, December down 2.5, 514 3/4. October lean hogs up 87, 96.02. October live cattle down 282, 232.97. RFD Radio Network.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to Fiber Fast Internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
Get WHOW programming live or on demand right there on your desktop, tablet, iPhone, or smartphone when you want it 24 hours a day. Just go to DeWittDailyNews.com. If you want to listen to live WHOW programming, just click the Listen Live icon. And if you want to hear one of your favorite WHOW programs when you want to, just click on the Audio on Demand icon. WHOW programming is there when you want it. Just another service from the big 1520 AM and 92.3 FM WHOW.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister, my guest in studio this morning. And Chief, I know you were telling me before we got started, you've got a partnership, a program you're bringing back with the Sheriff's Office. What's going on here?
Right. The sheriff and I are in the midst of reinstating the emergency response team. This time around, we're going to do a collaborative. It's going to help each agency out a little bit by having Logan County deputies and Lincoln City police officers both assigned to the team.
Okay.
Also a major crimes task force, so that if one agency or the other has a major incident occur, a large investigation, something like that, we can dedicate detectives from our agency to help theirs and vice versa.
Do you really need these agreements? They're not just kind of understandings, if you will?
Yeah, really, the agreement is necessary. It kind of gives a foundation for how the units operate and what type of incidents we'll respond to and things like that. We haven't had either of those ever for the major crimes task force, but the emergency response team kind of fell apart in the early 2000s, and they didn't have the time to focus on training. But now that we're fully staffed, we can start doing those things again.
Yeah. So what would that agreement entail, that emergency response? What kind of things would that cover?
So anytime that a residential search warrant needs to be executed, that's going to be their main function, or the response to a large violent incident.
Yeah.
We'll put a call out for the emergency response team to assemble, and then we have a specialized unit to address a serious problem.
Gotcha. So is that process as simple as taking what was in place, maybe using it as a framework and adjusting for 2025 law enforcement, or do you have to just start all over with a clean slate?
Really, we started all over with a clean slate. So all the changes in laws that have taken place since the early 2000s when we last had the team to now really called for a fresh update. We have a new policy in effect on how the team operates, trains, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
Are those things finished, or are you still working on those?
No, they're finished.
Oh, they're finished.
Yeah.
Okay. How long did that take you?
Well, we use Lexipol for our policy development. So
what is that?
Lexipol is a company that creates and publishes policy for law enforcement and other agencies. It was founded by Gordon Graham. He's a risk management guru.
Okay.
And it's a system that updates our policies anytime there's a change in legislation, things like that, because you can't keep up with that. An individual just can't keep up with that.
Or a couple of people can't. Yeah, that makes sense.
So they provide us with a base policy, and we can kind of amend it to fit the needs of the department.
Yeah.
So
not to, and I don't know how much you want to speak to it or not give away, but to just in general speak to it. Are there things in there that are specific to Lincoln that you can talk about?
specific to us. Yeah, sure. Like things like the size of your agency, the structure of your agency, your rank structure and things like that.
Okay.
So those parts of our policy are specific to us.
Yeah. What does training look like for each of these for the response team?
So the major crimes unit, there isn't a ton of training to be done that isn't already being done by both sides, detectives on both agencies, because those are things they have to keep up with. The emergency response team, there's monthly training for that. They have a certain number of hours that we've established that they have to train per year. It's pretty in depth because it's a risky business.
Sure,
so they
sure.
got to train a lot more than just a police officer on the street.
You have a good ongoing relationship with the sheriff's office there?
Yeah, we do. I think that we've really improved upon our relationship over the past few years.
Yeah. How so?
Just collaboration, things like this. The sheriff and I have meetings on a regular basis, sit down together, talk about what's going on in each agency because we work hand in hand every day. So,
Yeah, very good. Very good. Well, Chief, as we wrap up for this morning, I know I was in Lincoln for the Balloon Fest, the barbecue competition, all that good stuff. Huge crowd for that, it sounds like. How about that weekend?
Yeah, that was a big weekend. Friday downtown, we didn't see as many people as we thought we were going to, but I kind of figured out what was going on there. We had a championship race at the racetrack, and we had the
high school football or scrimmage, for football,
and meet the railers that night. So it wasn't booming down there on Friday, but on Saturday it was big. It was real big.
It was a great day.
And where the balloons launched out at Open Arms campus, we've never seen that much traffic in Lincoln.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so, and luckily everything went off without a hitch. I don't know if it was the good weather, but all the people downtown got along. We didn't have any issues,
any disputes.
That was real good.
You get disputes with that event or just events like that?
Just anytime you put that many people in one area.
They'll
have trouble.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We've got our Apple and Pork Festival coming up in a few weeks up here or over here, and one thing that law enforcement always talks about is, and it's always don't jinx us, but like just the mild nature of the festival and people that come out for it. Why do you think events in Central Illinois go off without these hitches that you're talking about?
I think a lot of it has to do with the mentality of the folks going. Everybody's happy to be there for the most part, and when they're already in a good mood, it
just makes things better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Well, Chief, again, you brought some great stuff with you this morning, this crime data and all of it. Again, where do folks go to learn to find that, learn about your department? Are you on social media? How about some of those things?
Yeah, we are on social media. I'm not a big social media guy, so
I find that hard to believe.
so presence there is it exists, but it's limited. But the City of Lincoln website. So we have a pretty good webpage up and going, lincolnil.gov.
Sure.
And you can find information about not just police department, but each of the other city departments there.
Very good. Well, Chief, always good to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming out. Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister, Network News on the way.